President Donald Trump has a focus on keeping Arizona a red state, and he made that clear by endorsing multiple Republican candidates on Friday.
Cars are having no trouble going by with the snow falling, but on the sides of the roads, it's really starting to pile up. I spoke with one of Mitchell's former colleagues, Rick Romley. He says this task will be unlike Mitchell's job as a sex crimes prosecutor.
Last year's committee assigned to the task only put together a half a page, a purpose, and a list of members. Now this session's legislature wants more in writing.
The passengers are unloaded before the driver drives through the ZEEP portal scan, where it will check for contraband before entering the U.S.
I'm here at the Republican Watch Party in Scottsdale, and the night is just getting started, but as you can see behind me, there's already a lot of energy going on in this room. These new plates are called R-Plate digital license plates, and they're being compared to a tablet device for their LTE wireless connection capabilities.
Mitchell works for the Maricopa County Attorney's Office here in downtown Phoenix. She's currently on leave from her two positions. Today, 35,000 pounds of frozen protein were donated to St. Mary's Food Bank.
Guys, I'm at the Ed Plus booth, and this is kind of the digital hub for online students. And look, they're even advertising the #1 in innovation that ASU is so proud of. But I'm going to come over here to their photo booth and talk a little bit with Cassie about what makes their program so innovative.
To them, it's a game. It's a game of hide and seek.
The Phoenix Fire Department trains canines to work for national FEMA urban search and rescue teams.
What we found is using the canines, they're very sure-footed. They put their weight on 4 feet. They're very light. These are 40, 50, 60-pound dogs. They can get in here and search this area way faster than we could.
The canines are trained on rubble piles created by the Phoenix Fire Department to reenact a building collapse similar to the World Trade Center.
We challenge them on the sense of smell to get in here and locate these victims and then alert their handler, letting them know there's a victim in the area.
I'm going to hide in this water basin and see if one of the dogs up for certification can come and find me.
We'll be with you shortly.
After a victim is found, there's always a celebration.
Yes, Elvis! Good boy!
The scale of it is so massive. For us to go in there with just people with cameras and with listening devices would take too long. We wouldn't find people in time. The dogs can cover this rubble pile in a matter of minutes, where it would take us a matter of hours.
Captain Dana Medlin trained Elvis, an 18-month-old Labrador, for the FEMA certification test.
We'll have 2 piles roughly this size. They have to find 4 to 6 victims without alerting on distractions or missing any victims. If they do that, they become one of the approximately 200 certified urban search and rescue dogs for FEMA in the United States.
Medlin says it takes a hard-working canine to pass the test.
There's no guarantees that they'll take to this kind of work, that they'll love to be on the rubble, that they'll have enough play drive.
The training alone takes thousands of hours.
To them, it's fun. They're going out there, they're barking, they're alerting, they get a toy, they get to play. We love them, we play with them a lot, and to them, it's the greatest thing in the world.
In Phoenix, Gabriella Bachara, Cronkite News.
That's our Swiss chard right there.
Stella McPhee has been working at the Carefree Farmers Market every week for the past 15 years.
We've got green beans, $2 there.
Today, she was one of the only vendors to show up.
I just felt really lucky that I didn't get the memo that the farmers market was closed.
It's not something you see every day. Snow covering the ground less than an hour from Phoenix.
I've been here 44 years. The first time I saw snow on the ground.
Snow on rocks.
In Arizona, it's a desert.
Snow on cacti.
They're not supposed to be on cactuses. It's so weird because lots of snow doesn't come at Phoenix, Arizona.
Rylan Melton says his favorite part is the snowballs.
Throwing it at people.
Despite the fun for the kids, McPhee and Accourt don't want to see the snow in the desert more often.
Oh, no. I run away from snow. It's nice for young people.
Oh, I don't know. It's nice that it's here for a couple days and then it goes away and gets sunny again.
In Carefree, Gabriella Bachara, Cronkite News. More than 1.5 million Native American women have experienced violence in their lifetime and are 20% times as likely to have experienced violence than non-Hispanic white women. These numbers for the Native American women I talk to are more than just statistics. Marching to expose the injustices they feel. Cher Thomas walks along with her sisters. Indigenous women are leading the Women's March for the first time. This chant is a battle cry for Thomas. Her family member was killed in a case of domestic violence.
When he came home from work, he confronted her, and then that's when he murdered her.
Thomas's loved one is one of thousands of Indigenous women murdered and kidnapped every year, according to the Urban Indian Health Institute.
Because of jurisdictional issues that exist within this country, because of reservations, because of the Indian problem, or whatever you want to call it, it's very difficult to prosecute us. That's why we're the targets.
Attorney Albert Hale says because of the Major Crimes Act, Indian nations have limited jurisdictional power on their own lands. This act doesn't allow for tribal courts to try murder cases. Instead, they go to the federal or state courts.
That's again federal intrusion on the sovereignty of Indian nation and making Indian nations limited or less powerful in terms of dealing with crimes that are committed on Indian reservation.
That has a huge impact on the 22 Indian nations in Arizona, the state with the third highest number of missing and murdered Indigenous women, from the Navajo Nation up north to the Tohono O'odham Nation closer to Tucson.
How many officers do we have?
Indivisible Tohono, a grassroots organization, works to protect Native American rights, and the first item on their agenda this week is acknowledging the issue of missing and murdered Indigenous women.
So we don't have 911 down here.
Their hope is that if people start acknowledging it, then they'll do something to change it.
I just want people to know because, it's real and it could happen to you if you don't get out or do anything about it or just speak up about it.
On Father's Day 1990, Audrey Ramon lost her mother to domestic violence.
I guess she was trying to run out of the door and she didn't make it. And that's where they sat down with her and held her hand. And she passed away.
Ramon says if her mom was still alive today, she would be advocating for other victims.
I can't bring her back, but at least I could help somebody else.
There might be some hope for actual change, at least at the state level. Bills to study the problem are making their way through both houses. The goal is to gather concrete information and see where resources are needed most.
We can't allow our Native sisters to just disappear at this rate and not draw attention to it.
And so they'll continue their chant, raising their voices to make sure all Indigenous women are heard.
It has been proven time and time and time again that we don't matter, and we're tired of it. So it's better to advocate before the next tragedy than to martyr another slain sister.
If the bills pass and the committee convenes, they expect to have more numbers on missing and murdered Indigenous women come November. In the studio, Gabriella Bachara, Cronkite News.